Hello, I'm Ruben and welcome to the Samplecast. This is episode 32. I just want to jump straight in and say I was hoping to see some people at NAMM over the next week or so, but unfortunately circumstances have conspired against me and I'm not able to make it. But I'm hoping you can all update me there. I've got my spies out as well to catch up on the latest news. This is a huge show this week. We've got a roundup of Ethno World 6 from Best Service and also the normal roundup, bargains, we've got freebies as well and a huge update section at the end of the show. So I'm not going to blabber on for too long, let's get on with it. First off in this week's roundup, it's Big Fish Audio's GrindHouse. Now, this library is based on 1970s exploitation movie soundtracks inspired by kind of edgy and vintage guitars, drums, keyboards, vocals, winds, and old and broken instruments that are played in a sort of a dusty fashion. It's really good for remaking retro movies in kind of spaghetti western kind of vibe or B-movie styles. So I'm thinking here of Pulp Fiction and Kung Fu movies, that sort of thing. This runs in Contact, it's 12GB in size. There's also an FX page on board for further grittying up the sounds, and there's a huge list of the playable instruments on offer on the Big Fish website. Although I do wish the walkthrough video that they did was a little bit longer. It's only about 5 minutes long and it just shows a few patches. However, there's some demos on there. If you like the sound of it, head over to Big Fish Audio. The lovely James Wiltshire from the Freemasons sent me this next pack. It's F9 Trax Electric Disco. Runs in Logic and Ableton and it's 5GB in size. Now these are full songs produced by the chart-topping remix team themselves, and there's 5 complete projects here that you can load into your DAW and unpick and unpack them. Have a look at the MIDI notes, have a look at the effects, and really see how the Freemasons make their magic happen. I've had a go myself. It's a really extraordinary learning tool with some excellent notes to go along with each project, explaining why the tracks are set up the way that they are. There's also some brilliant standalone instruments, bass lines, leads, synths and effects too. Check it out at the F9 Audio website, or you can also pick it up at Loopmasters. 8DO have given an update to their Blendstrument series, and the next library in the pack is Blendstrument Strange Pulses. We reviewed another Blendstrument instrument back in Samplecast 10, so if you want to see exactly how things work as regards the interface, head over to that review there. This is another big collection of sounds. It's 15GB uncompressed. It runs in the full version of Contact, and as always with Blendstrument instruments, the presets are very good, but the fun really comes when you start to use the randomization controls for infinite pulsing cinematic soundscapes. These are also synced to your DAW's BPM, and there's a couple of new extras on there, including a new pulse engine. There's a lot of kind of synthy and guitar sounds included in this pack, and most have a kind of vintage analog flavour. For a full idea of exactly how this sounds, head over to the 8DO website. No idea how to pronounce this one, but I'll give it a go. It's from Atom Hub and it's Genius Loci Obzor. Might be right, might not be. Runs in the Contact full version and is almost a gigabyte in size. You've got 117 single patches here and 50 multis. And there's some really lovely sounds here that are demonstrated well in their comprehensive video walkthrough. Basically, it's been sampled from the sounds of the seaside, sort of maritime atmospheres you've got there, and it would be perfect for scoring suspense tracks, or especially for underwater scenes or sort of epic sea journeys, pirate soundtracks. That sort of thing sprung to mind when I was having a play with this. It's only €15 and you can find it on the Atom Hub website. Lastly, I want to give a quick mention to Sick Loops. Their new pack, Essential Vocal Chops, is for all the EDM heads out there. This brings together 130 vocal chop-up riffs into one collection. It's not expensive, just $12, and they've also got a lot of other cheapy libraries on their Sick Loops website. Check them out. This is the section of the show for mega bargains, and we're going to kick off with Sound Ether's Organica. It's actually a new library that's full of tonal textures blended with field recordings, and there's a lot of mod wheel functionality here as well, which morphs the sounds as you push it up and down. This runs in the full version of Contact in the photosynthesis engine by Jeremiah Penner. Most people who've watched the Samplecast before will be well familiar with that. It's 850 megabytes in size, 84 patches, and there's 40% off until the 29th of January. Check the link in the description below for the website and details. VST Buzz have got another 2-week offer just started. This is Amplesound's F2 guitar, and it's a 1950s Fender Stratocaster model. It doesn't need the Contact library, it just runs in their bespoke engine, and there's lots of articulations here and intelligent scripting for different playing styles too. It's 55% off at just €64.99. Check the description for the link. A quick mention for the Dan Dean Signature Bass Collection from Audio Plugin Deals. This is available for the next sort of 4 or 5 days or so. This is a collection of 5 different bass guitars with hundreds of different preset tones. It's an exclusive product from Audio Plugin Deals. After this deal finishes, it will no longer be available. And I did the walkthrough video for this, had a good play with it, was pretty impressed. You can check the description for the link below. This week's big review is really a big update. It's Ethno World 6 from Best Service. Now, the background to this library is that it's been updated and improved for about 16 years, so this version of it has been a long time in the making. It's been developed by composer Marcel Barsotti, and you can see a lot of love has gone into this collection. In fact, if you have a look at the documentation online, you can see exactly who's played what, and also the individual singers that have been culled from all around the world. So Ethno World 6 consists of 2 separate libraries. There are instruments and there's a voice collection too. And this number 6 update brings a 13GB collection of new sounds, so you've got 33GB in total with 800 patches. Just to run over some of the new stuff, you've got an Alpine collection, gamelan, some new keyboard wind instruments. Now the whole lot runs in Contact Player and is also now NKS compatible, so you've got those coloured key switches with your Contact keyboards too. I don't have time to go over the full list of instruments in voices in this review, but there's a really comprehensive PDF on the Best Service website, so do check that out. Let's start with the instruments. These are broadly categorised into themes and regions. You've got some playable instruments, some loops and licks, and some patches are a combination of both using key switches at the bottom of the keyboard, and many of these have different articulations. There are multis there, but I wouldn't get too excited about them as there's only 9 of them, and they basically just load a bank of instruments into Contact but assign them to different MIDI channels. So I didn't find this way of working to particularly suit me, although it does allow you to load up a lot of different instruments in one go. The voices are categorised into different areas of the world, and it's quite easy to click through the directories and find what you're after. There's a few little niggles here in terms of where I would have put things, but basically it's all there and it's pretty easy to find. So what did I like about this library? Well, I'd say that 90% of the sounds and voices are great. The drums sound wide, they're fat, some of them are really epic too. The loops as well are very authentic. Now, some of the instruments don't sound quite as good as other dedicated solo libraries, for example the Ney flute and Erhu. I've heard better versions of those, but they do a good job in Ethno World 6 nonetheless. The information pages for each of the instruments and vocals are very useful and interesting, and I did love the micro tuning. It's especially important to get the tuning right with some of these Eastern or Indian instruments, and there's micro tuning presets on board which are culled from all around the world, so these are very authentic. I particularly love playing with the construction sets. Even though there's only just 3 categories, you can create a full band effect in seconds just by hitting a few keys, adding drums and rhythmic harmonies and melodies together. I'll demonstrate some of that now. The waveform display is new to Ethno World 6 and is great for clearly showing the phrases and what to expect for them. It's especially useful for the vocal phrases so that you can link one to the next because you can see exactly where those vocal phrases finish. Speaking of the vocals, I did love the pads and instrument accompaniment sections at the bottom of the keyboard so that you could audition the sounds in context. Check out this reggae one for the Jamaican voices. Also, being able to tune the different phrases is super easy. It's nice to have the same interface for all of the instruments and voices. It's so easy to learn, and even though some parts of the interface are irrelevant for some of the instruments, that doesn't really matter because it's all in the same place. It's really easy to get to grips with. So there's a few things that I think could be improved upon, but they're really small points. Some of the voices sound a bit synthy, especially the solos, although some are surprisingly convincing using just the scripted legato. Also, some selections of the voices are a little bit stingy, I thought. The Gregorian chants, for example, they've only got 13 phrases and there's no playable patch there. Having said that, some of the instruments and voices have more selections and articulations than I think I would ever need. For example, the human whistling, which obviously is something most people can do themselves, has licks and a playable patch and 7 articulations, which is crazy. I did run into a legato issue with a few of the instruments. The playable instruments have multiple articulations, so that's great, but it's best to have legato mode on for the sustained articulations, and this gives a nice smooth transition, as most composers will know. Unfortunately, when it's on, most of these short articulations suffer a bit from playback problems when you play very quickly because the legato is still engaged and there's no key switch for turning the legato on and off. And this is especially apparent with instruments like the folk violin playing in staccato or pizzicato. It would have been better if these articulations had legato turned off by default, as the legato on and off seems to affect the whole instrument patch, not just one articulation. So in conclusion, for a library that's this comprehensive, there are very few duds in the patches. The interface is clear and easy, and the options for customization far more wide-ranging than might first be apparent when you load up the instrument. You could spend a lot of money picking up solo versions of these instruments here and not get anything like the breadth and functionality that Ethno World 6 offers. Some samples might be showing their age, but considering all of the new and reprogrammed content, I think for €450 you'll find a lot to love. It's a recommendation from me. I want to point out a couple of good sites for freebies this week. The first is Autodafe or Autodafe, not really sure. There's so many freebies here, mostly for the full version of Contact, and these include pianos, vintage drum machines, guitars and organs. They're all completely free, but you can choose to donate via PayPal if you find them useful. I definitely encourage this if you're going to use them in commercial productions, just give back to the developer. Website's a little bit difficult to find, so click the description below for the link. I've been meaning to mention this one for a while. It's Layercake from Flintpope. Layercake is the newest free library from them. It's 266 megabytes in size, runs in the full version of Contact, and it's basically an effects and atmosphere generator. You've got 3 different samplers in the engine here with 4 sounds in each. Each sampler has 13 controls for manipulating the sound, different effects, that sort of thing, and you can also add your own audio into the engine. This is free with an optional donation, or you can also choose to support them on Patreon. They also do lots of other freebies for Contact, Ableton and other software, including a brand new synth that runs in the full version of Reactor 6. Have a look at their website for details of all of those. I'm going to quickly run through a few new updates this week because there's quite a lot of them. The first is Soundiron's Emotional Piano. Now, this piano has been around for a number of years and is used by many composers to get that kind of Thomas Newman piano sound. This updated Contact Player version offers a new interface with high damping, velocity controls and a full effects page too. There's also some new presets on board. I personally use this piano all the time, so it's definitely worth checking out. TC Electronic have released a new plugin version of their VSS3 native Reverb. I'm going to give this a quick mention as it's been a popular reverb choice amongst professional studio engineers for years, and it's now finally available as a plugin for all major DAWs, Logic, Ableton, Cubase, Reaper, Studio One, all of those guys, not just Pro Tools anymore. There's a free 14-day trial online, so you can check the site and get the details and listen to demos there. I've mentioned Aphelion by Particular Sound before on the Samplecast. There's a version 2 of this library that's out now. It's a huge 4GB update to the sounds, which brings the library up to about 8 gigs in total, and this includes new pads, basses, Brahms, synths, arpeggios and a reprogrammed interface too. Runs in the full version of Contact. They're also offering a free suspense sample pack as a taster, so have a look at their website for full details there. A very quick mention for New Loops. There's various updates on their website, including a new percussion bundle at a discounted rate and a new label sampler as well, which gives a taste of their products for free. Have a look at the New Loops website. And lastly, in this update section, I'm going to mention Chris Hein's Solo Strings Complete. Now, we've covered some of the Solo Strings collection from Chris Hein before, but he's completed the full package whilst we were on vacation. And the strings here are viola, violin, 2 cello and a contrabass as well. Runs in the Contact, you can run it in the player version. It's about €600, so it's not too cheap, but you do get a lot of flexibility as there are loads of articulations there. There's also various cross-grade pricing options for those who've bought the individual libraries before, and I would urge you to check out the brand new videos online that Chris Hein has made, including the performance capabilities of solo strings and also the new articulation. I think he's done a great job on these. Thank you so much for watching the Samplecast. It was a really long show this week and took a really long time to put together and edit, but hopefully it's all been worth it. We'll be here again next week with another show, hopefully including some NAMM news as well. In the meantime, you can check out the Samplecast at all the normal links, and I will see you next week.